Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to a brand new week of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott, and we're so glad to have you here as author, researcher Chris Berryman is going to be here to talk about the N1 sessions and his new book on it. It's going to be a great show. But first, before we bring Chris in, let us say hello to each and every one of you as we have Kitty Caddywhack in the gold medal position, Race Fan with a silver, Amy Allo with the bronze medal tonight. So thank you for coming on in. JSCO, how you doing? Nice to have you here as we continue on with our roll call to say hello to each and every one of you. Roswell Alien, nice for you to come on in. Mel WD40 is here, lubing us up for tonight's show because Chris Berryman literally said, Dave, I'm not talking the N1 session unless I'm all lubed up. So Mel's lubing Chris up as we speak. Thank you, Mel, for doing that. It's a tough job, very tough job. Necessary Dialogue, Frankie B, and Mr. Cowley. How you doing? Mr. Cowley will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind. To the left of the studio. What in tarnation? Operation Shutdown and the Doug Shelby has arrived, which means we can officially start this show. Moving on down, let us say hello next to Tim Mothman and his goatee, two separate entities. Sweet Donna C, how are you tonight? As we roll on down on roll call here, Undead Jed, nice to have you here. And who is next? Well, let's take a look here. It's Jay Truthseeker. It's Flat Sixer and Battleliner. Welcome to SOR Chat. Thank you for coming on in. Robert Lamoth, how are you? Luscious Jules, nice to see you. Algaray over on Twitch, so excited about tonight's show. Ran 24 miles on the treadmill in 14 minutes. He was flying. He literally had wings. Yeah, that fast. AJ, how you doing tonight? Nice to have you here as we scroll on down to Digger Dog. Digger Dog will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind. To the right of the studio. Sensational Shelley, how are you tonight? Thank you for joining us. Matthew Gutka, nice to have you here as we continue on with our roll call. And, Battleliners, Aussie Rob. How's them Ham Hawks, man? How's the Ham Hawks doing? Give us an update. On X, listening in is East Coast Turnaround. Thank you for joining us tonight. Jerence Carter, nice to see you. Always nice to put an N on Jerry. It just works for me. Trucker Andrew, how you doing? If you're driving, make sure you honk your horn for us. We'd appreciate that. And we are caught up. Well, what the hell do we do for 30 seconds? Excuse me. What are we going to do? I just ripped through that. I never go that fast in it. Yep. Yeah, the Ham Hawks are good on Aussie Rob. That's nice to see. Yep. Good to have you here. Hey, guys, I want to remind all of you while we're waiting to get the radio side going that you could shop at our Spaced Out Radio store at any time. Why? We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. You can wear our stuff out in public and actually be proud of it. And on roll call, let's say hello to I'm Hardcore over on X. Nice to have you here. And a reminder to you, a good Christmas present is for next year. What do I mean by that? Get your VIP tickets now for CaribouCon.com. September 18th through 20th, Spaced Out Radio will be a sponsor of that event in beautiful 108 Mile Ranch, British Columbia. Get your VIP tickets now. Caribou with 2 O's, CARIBOO, CON.com. Make sure you check it on out. Get your VIP tickets right now. Well, maybe after the show. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for tuning us in. Author and researcher Chris Berryman is going to break down the N1 sessions for us. I'm really looking forward to this show. I love topics like this. I know you are too. If you're new here listening on in, do us a favor, hit subscribe, ring that bell, give us a follow. It really helps with the algorithms and helps us grow on a nightly basis because we get to do this and we have a lot of fun for you. Biofuel Brad, nice to have you back. It's been a while. As we roll on down, Are You Yeti? How you doing, my friend? And we are 15 seconds away. Remember, the super chat is open. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. Walter Kochabinski, how you doing? I'm going to ask all of you a favor right now. Throw those horns up. Let's rock.
Are you ready to hear your mystic voice of the night?
It's time to wake up.
He's here. Shush. Be quiet. He's ready for you to listen. Let's point our ears towards the little cabin in the woods, where together, my friends, we own the night. It's time for Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. We are going to get deep into a different kind of research tonight. Author, researcher, creator, Chris Berryman is going to be with us as we take a look at the N1 sessions. Then in hour number 3, Swamp Dweller will kick things off. Follow that up with the wizard, Josh Rutledge, who will be here for the UFO Report. Chris Berryman is the creator and lead researcher behind the N1 session, a groundbreaking investigative method that blends intuition, pattern recognition, and structured cognitive mapping to uncover hidden layers within the paranormal and high-strangeness events. With years of field experience and a reputation for analytical clarity, Berryman developed the N1 approach as a way to gather non-traditional data points that often escape conventional investigation methods. His work has gained attention for producing strikingly specific impressions, unexpected correlations, and insights that change and challenge mainstream assumptions about consciousness and the supernatural. His book, The N1 Session, you can get it right now. Chris Berryman, welcome to Spaced Out Radio for the first time. How are you?
Good. Hey, Dave. Thanks for having me.
I am very excited to have you here, my man. And you know, I love these topics, and when people take an initiative and go deep with it, you know, I think it adds a lot more than just, say, doing a regular ghost hunt or a UFO skywatch or sitting out in the forest waiting for Bigfoot to come out and laugh at you. You know, it really does. And we're going to get heavily into that here coming up momentarily, but I want our audience to learn about you first and foremost. How did this all begin for you on your paranormal consciousness journey?
Sure thing. Yes, it's started for me. I'm someone who has been sort of interested in paranormal and metaphysical things for probably since the late 90s. But it was just sort of my calling, things I would study. I would take workshops, just continuously. I had other interests. I was interested in film and theater and acting and directing and producing and things like that. I lived in New York and Los Angeles. I now live back in my native Michigan. And what happened was about 2019, I'd say like the fall of 2019, I had been having these strange sensory experiences. I was seeing geometry. I was seeing portals in strange things. Just when I would close my eyes, they would be there. And sometimes I would start seeing them during the day, just with my eyes open. And they started to ramp up sort of right before the pandemic kicked in. And I would see, the geometry, the light particles, things that looked like flying saucers, strange machinery that I had never seen before. And this started to accelerate. And eventually I would see eyes and I would see faces of beings. Some of them were human and some of them were not human. And it scared me at first, but a teacher of mine sort of encouraged me to just breathe and stick with it and record what you're seeing. So I did. And that led to an experience. And I'm guessing this is probably like the spring of 2020, where I was laying in bed. I was wide awake and the lights were on in my bedroom. And I was just sort of like relaxing on my bed. And I did close my eyes, but I felt this sort of, I think I noticed some of those images were there when I closed my eyes. But I felt this sensation of being drawn upward. Mm-hmm. And it started increasing. And I knew something was happening, but something inside me told me to just relax and go with it. So I did. And after that sort of being brought upward thing happened, I started seeing a control panel, a desert landscape, hands, different, many things. And it was a positive experience. I started hearing this music and it felt like I was getting like 5 energy healing sessions all at once. I wouldn't call it abduction. I would call it sort of though some people might view it that way. I would call it sort of an invitation that I accepted. And that led to, long story short, that led to a conversation with a being known as N1 and a collective of beings who originate from Orion. And that was the foundation of my first book, which is an illustrated sci-fi storybook called Flying Saucer Visions. And then also with this upcoming book, which is nonfiction and more in-depth essays, which is called the N1 Sessions.
I'm already all in, man. I am already all in. The minute you said Orion, I am all in on the woo on this one, my friend. And let me tell you, when you have these very dramatic, traumatic experiences that change your entire perspective and your direction in life, that kicks you in the teeth and basically says, this is the way you're going and you don't have a choice on this. What was life before all of this? Were you a happily boring guy like I was when this was going on, or was this something that you just kind of pushed through?
I think I was happily boring. I think I still am happily boring, but I was also moody and restless and I was having I had just gotten out of this really nasty relationship situation, and I needed a perk. I think I needed some sort of energetic kick, and I definitely got it. And it's still ongoing. no, it was as described, those initial experiences were jarring and a little scary, and something that sort of rocked my world a little bit. It's become more integrated into my life now, this connection. And it's something when I connect with these beings, this source, it's on my terms. I tend to do it in cycles like moon cycles or equinoxes, solstices, midpoints. And it's this awareness and sort of these energetic teachings are something that are more just part of me now. So it's been a positive thing.
Did you ever see your life going down this path?
With ETs and other dimensions, beings, no. I was, I liked New Age things. I always have. I was interested in meditation, and I've studied with several teachers and everything. It was the metaphysical, or the body mind was already part of my life, but not in this way. This is more of a, to me, this is more of a direct experience or a direct contact. So I did not see this happening.
So as this started to happen, obviously when these things first start to happen, you kind of keep control of yourself, trying to figure out, is this real? Is this Memorex?
Oh my God.
Take us through that. Take us through
it. Sorry to interrupt you, but what you said just triggered so many memories. And I in the book, I describe how I was put through tizzies of self-doubt. I was just, I wasn't sure what was happening. I didn't know, is this something, are these beings that I'm seeing, is this something that I can trust? Is this something that I should be welcoming? And that I had I had a period of not only self-doubt, but sort of just really wrestling with it for some time. But as I got to know the energy, it had such a reverent, almost monk-like respect and a gentle quality, as well as a fierce wisdom connected with it. And that is why I was able to trust it and let it in, I think, over time, over months, like through the years of the pandemic and up until now.
How did you find your point of just accept it and go down the rabbit hole? Because I know, like, when I had a guru working with me. Okay. I call him my guru. His name is Pascal, probably one of the most influential people in my life, when all of a sudden my experiences started really taking off late in 2011, right through to, 2012, when I started working with Pascal, and then right through 2014. I mean, that was the wildest time of my life.
Yeah.
When things were going on, but I remember him the first time we finally sat down. It was like 11:30, 11:45 at night. I barely know this guy. And he's like, "Hey man, what do you say you and I go for a drive?" I said, "Well, it's kind of late." He goes, "So what? Let's just go for a drive." So we went for a drive. And one of the first questions he asked me was, "How far down the rabbit hole do you want to go?" And
wow.
And I remember saying, all the way. All the way. Because I thought, you know what? I'm having a lot of ghost activity in my house. I've had a couple of really strange experiences. This is getting kind of cool. I could talk to ghosts. I could do that kind of stuff, And I didn't realize that it included ETs and UFOs and cryptids and all sorts of weird stuff that was going on. Did you have somebody guiding you, or did you have to go through it alone?
At the very beginning, I had one teacher who encouraged me, because she had similar experiences. Her name is Elaine. And she just said, okay, just when you're seeing this geometry, when you're seeing these things, these beings, just, don't be scared, number one, and just ask them what they want. She encouraged me to open up a line of communication, which sort of, the whole thing then opened up, and the whole thing then kicked in, and it triggered, it's triggered 2 books so far, as well as other material, and it's ongoing. So just at the beginning for me, 90% of this is what's, for me, I tend to be more of a loner, even though I do have a circle of friends who I adore. But the strange thing about this for me is that I really felt compelled after that initial encouragement to go this on my own and set up my own firewalls and my own way of doing it. So I think that's kind of strange, but it's part of my it's a defect in me that I tend to withdraw like that. I think it's great that you had such a spirited teacher or friend guiding you, and I think for a lot of people that works better probably.
It really was something that I'm glad that I had. I don't know if
Yeah.
and I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I would have survived if I did. Right.
Right.
Because I got hit when I got opened up to this world, I got hit like a 2x4 in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Like it was fast, it was furious, it was all sorts of high strangeness paranormally that just hit me all at once. I didn't know what to do. Right.
I don't know if you've experienced this, but like I think I remember trying to talk about it with certain friends, and I could tell that it was making them immediately uncomfortable.
Yes.
And so I stopped. Because I didn't want to. I don't want to force any ideas or stories on people before they want to hear it. So I've and then there's some other friends who have been totally open to it and totally helpful and receptive. So I guess it just depends. I think the ET and the extra dimensional phenomena makes some people very scared.
Yes.
And I have to remember that.
I would agree with you. And looking back, I have lost all of my closest friends over it. But I built new ones.
Yeah.
I built new ones that I could trust, that I could, go to on this. And it's funny. You grow up with these people your whole life, and immediately they think you've lost it when you've just gone on a different path and you just need some help. But you know what? It didn't surprise me in my end. Okay. It really didn't. Looking back on it, like when I went through my divorce in what year was that? 2009, 2010. Like my friends kind of shied away from me on that one because I was the first one out of our group married. That was the first one out of our group divorced. And
Yeah.
and so it was weird how they kind of shied away from me then. So this second time around, when all of a sudden I started having these amazing experiences, it really didn't bother me as much as it did prior.
Right. In that I feel that, thanks for sharing that, because I feel that's kind of in process for me right now. Like I don't want to force. I don't really bring this up to people when I meet them or establish the friends that I have. I don't volunteer to talk about this, but if they want to talk about it, I'm more than willing to.
See, that's where I struggle. I love talking about these topics. Like in my small town where I live, man, I'm kind of known as not the town weirdo, but I'm known as the paranormal guy, the Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Like I can walk down the main street of my small little town, and people will be like, "Hey, there's the Sasquatch guy. Or that's the guy who runs the ghost tour," something along those lines, right?
Yeah. Did that take a while? Did that take a period of transformation of becoming the Sasquatch guy? Like, or did you just fall into that pretty quickly?
The paranormal side came first because what
Yeah.
I did was I started a paranormal ghost tour to raise money for our local museum
Hmm.
that was haunted, and people got to know me that way. But I've kind of transformed since about 2018 into going to look for Sasquatch and the cryptids and everything like that.
Hmm.
So it's been a lot of fun that way.
I see. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, with that happening, people now know that, and there's a couple people in town, probably not as invested as I am in it, but there's a couple people in town that, you'll hear people say, "Hey man, this person over here goes and looks for Sasquatch all the time, or that person has a couple of areas. But I get a lot of First Nations people who will tell me stories. I'm lucky that way. And I get a lot of logging truck drivers that will tell me things.
Oh, they've seen things and they've had experiences.
Oh, yeah.
There. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. It's very weird because in my town, the loggers won't really talk about it, but the logging truck drivers will.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's okay. I think we're allowed to take in things, and our lives can consist of what we wanted them to consist of. And I want to be respectful of that, but at the same time, I have to speak my truth, and I have to say what I've experienced. And there seems to be a lot of other people experiencing these things. So why don't we talk about this? It also challenges religion, and that's another hurdle that perhaps some people, that might be a hurdle for some folks.
It's funny, at our local museum, I'm talking, I'll be in talks with them as of next month on trying to set up a little bit more paranormal tourism there.
Yeah.
And I know that there is a little bit of backlash in my community about that. Like, one of the churches, actually, the church that's literally about 150 yards behind my studio here, a couple of years ago, they got caught going around all the buildings blessing them because we were bringing demons and all evil spirits into the museum, and we were causing havoc spiritually there, and they ended up getting kicked off the grounds for that. But it's kind of funny how people react to that type of conversation, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah, it is. In the whole thing with it is important to use discernment, because not all with any being or any situation that you find yourself in involving beings from other dimensions or other phenomena, whether it's UFO or whatever. Discernment is important, but we can't automatically go to that, automatically have that knee-jerk fear reaction. In the demon thing seems to be a knee-jerk reaction for a lot of people.
But it's easy fear.
Yeah, totally. Easy fear, and not wanting to, it's that fear of the unknown and wanting to create a story surrounding everything. Where we don't like research, this idea of this show, like researching, investigation. We're here to explore, because maybe we don't know all the answers. And that's just one way to look at it. I'll get off that soapbox now, but yeah.
But I think anything that is enlightening and open-minded towards these type of topics is going to ruffle some feathers.
Absolutely. And I think we can ruffle feathers in a way that's supportive and respectful, but it's just a matter of being unfiltered with the truth that you see, or the things that you think are real. I've had to do that with this book without, because there are some ideas that have come through with the N1 sessions that perhaps will be a bit controversial, but I think it's digestible. And I think it's in alignment with some of the stuff that other people are bringing through too. So that's all good.
Well, we're going to go to break here in about 20 seconds. And so far, I can't believe we're already burned through 30 minutes of this show, because
seems like we just started.
Right? I mean, you're having a good conversation when the show is flying on by. And I am so excited to have Chris Berryman on as a guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio, because when we return from the break, we are going to learn about the N1 session. Is it possible to have communication with beings from a different star system? Maybe a different constellation? Orion, maybe? A lot of people believe Orion is where it began on Earth. as weird as that sounds. We're going to get into Chris Berryman and his book about the N1 session next on Spaced Out Radio. All right, we are clear. That is a good start, man.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, man. I told you it was going to fly by.
You were right. And it's just the way that you set things up, Dave, it just triggers so many other ideas that want to be expressed. So this is cool.
Yeah, man. We're, like I said, it's going to be the fastest 2 hours, man, that you've ever done. It's going to, I hate to say it, but it's going to make you disappointed with others.
I think you're right. I already am.
Oh, man. Oh, God, we're going to get into this. I am so pumped about this. You have no idea how pumped up I am about getting into this next part.
The juice.
If I can get into my own woo, I'm not going to mention this during the show, but my own woo, I have very strong connection to Orion.
Tell me more.
Well, going back a couple of years, my contact has kind of died down over the last little bit, and I think they're giving me a break. Okay, if that makes sense. And prior to that, I got taken, not taken, but in a dream state one night, I was shown that I have 2 bodyguards, spiritual bodyguards. And they are from, if you look at Orion's belt, in between the bottom 2 stars, there is a faint star that you can see out of your peripheral, but cannot see out of it directly. There's kind of a faint star there.
Do you know the name of it?
I'd have to look it up.
Okay.
Hold on.
It's not safe, is it?
Give me 2 seconds.
No pressure.
It's Sigma.
Yep.
Okay. So the image that they showed me of these 2 dudes, they're about 10 feet tall. They are always cloaked in black. Okay, like a black hood with a black cape going right down to the ground.
Yeah.
And the head is like glass with a flame from a lighter in
it. Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder what those, but I've seen these I think I've seen these beings before.
Yeah.
I never saw the face, but I saw the cloak like you're describing. But they seemed commanding, but good, well-intentioned at the same time.
Yes.
And definitely mysterious, but
very protective.
That is really interesting.
Very protective, dude. I can summon them in like that.
That is so cool.
And the cool part about it is if let's say I have a friend or a person I care about who's in a little bit of spiritual trouble, I can say, okay, boys, I need you to go over there to that person's house. I need you to protect them to get whatever's there that's bugging them gone. I had a young girl, she was 12, 13 years old. Her mother contacted me about it, and she was having troubles with grays at her window, and her bedroom was on the 2nd floor. She'd actually said she had flown the craft, right? But she was getting scared because there was this second set of grays that wasn't doing too well. And I actually got these dudes to go there and protect her. She never had troubles with the Gray since.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're almost like they're spirit guides for you.
Yeah. They're like spiritual. I don't call them guides. I call them more spiritual bodyguards.
Yeah. Protectors.
I don't know their names. Don't know what they look like outside of that glass head with the flame on it.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty close. Yeah. You got a pretty good view, I think.
Yeah. We're coming back in 15 seconds. Still waiting for our first super chat of the night. If you feel like doing so, please do. That would be wonderful. If you're new here, do us a favor, hit subscribe, ring that bell, as we are here all the time because we don't have a life. So come join us. Here we go. We're into the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. We have author and researcher Chris Berryman with us. We're going to get into the N1 session coming up momentarily. But first, we want to remind all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, you can always check out our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Author, researcher, experiencer Chris Berryman is here to tell us about his research and his logging of this incredible story called the N1 session. Now, N1 may sound like a group or it may sound like something that you put together. It's not. It's an alien being. Chris, welcome back.
Thanks, Dave.
Let's give a shout out first and foremost. Where can people find your book?
Sure. They can find the N1 sessions on Amazon or Barnes & Noble's website, pretty much anywhere books are sold. It is in the pre-sale right now. And it's going to be released in February, but you can go online tonight and order it if you want to. Yeah, that's basically it.
I am very excited about this story because I feel like I have a little bit of a tie with my own experiences to the constellation Orion. This is one of the reasons why I love it when fall and winter come, because literally I have an eastern bird's eye view of Orion as it's coming over. And like right now, I can point out my studio and tell you that it's just to my left in the sky, right? What is the love? How did this all begin with N1? Tell us about it.
Well, based on those experiences that I described earlier with being sort of my energy body, being first having these visions of sacred geometry and portals and light particles and flying saucers that I was having very readily every day at the beginning of the pandemic, and then being brought, sort of my energy body being pulled up onto some sort of spacecraft or some sort of energy craft. Then a conversation opened up, and basically I found a method that I could let these beings speak through me and write through me. And I've learned that this is a collective that is based on the outer limits of Orion, not far from Sirius A. And this group, I call them the Orion Contingent, and that was a name they liked, so it stuck. And N1 is the leader, I'm told, of the Orion Contingent. They're sort of space archaeologists. They have a monk-like quality, and they're seeking both scientific expansion, which is on their level, which is they're aware of things that we perhaps not many people on this planet think about. But they also have they also are in tune with wisdom, seeking wisdom, and they have sort of a philosopher's energy as well. That's what I've come to know about this group.
The contact that you had as it began for you, did it come in increments or did it just kick you in the butt and make it happen?
It came in increments, and there was definitely respect for my free will in receiving these messages and these sessions. Um, it did. There was a, how do I say this? There, through what I was seeing and experiencing, there seemed to be a force saying, "Hey, hello, we have something to say. We have something that we want to share with you. We want your attention." And so there was a pressure, a sort of something kicking me in the butt, but it was definitely something that I was allowed to experience in increments. Yeah, and I still am.
How long has this been going on for you?
Okay, so the initial experiences started, I'd say, in 2019. So it's been going on for, gosh, almost 6 years.
As it's gone on and as it's kind of moved your life forward, how much time has it consumed with you? Because I know for me, it literally became very tough for me to concentrate on anything else, whether it's my daytime job. I mean, whether it was life in general. I felt like it was consuming all of me at that time between 2011 and 2014 for me. How about yourself?
Yeah, it's definitely, it's because it pulls me in. It kind of pulls me in kicking and screaming sometimes. Because it's something that once it pulls me in, I become like almost obsessive about it. I want to get really clear on what's being communicated, or what I'm seeing, what I'm experiencing, what's coming through. So it definitely can be all consuming, as you describe. I've learned to balance it out to so that I'm not burdened or overwhelmed, because the channeling sessions and these sessions where these beings communicate, whether it's spoken or written, that feels exhilarating to
Right.
me. But it's when I have to, because I then take it and I want, it's usually recorded in some way, when I have to go back in and sort of put it into English, because I want to do that too, and make it flow with grammar, and because spoken communication is quite different from written communication.
Right.
I've found that's when it's just, because it's like this high, a lot of really high frequency concepts and high energies, and that I have to pace myself with, because it can be exhausting.
How much of yourself did you put into this project when contact was first made?
Well, luckily, when contact was first made, it was during the, I guess what you'd call the lockdown.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of time on my hands. So I showed up daily with it, even though I was doing other things too. I was checking in on family members, and I was, you know, just trying to deal with what was happening. And I was able to sort of, like everyone else, just have some downtime. But it was something that was coming through, or something that was appearing regularly, almost every day. So I was able to, I had a lot of free time during this period when it initially came through.
Who is N or what is N1?
Well, N1 is a being. It's a male energy, and he seems to be. I've only seen him in glimpses, quick glimpses, but he seems to be like I guess what you'd call a galactic human. What
Right.
I'm told, and this is described in the N1 sessions, is that his origins are actually from Sirius A,
Right.
and that he moved into to collaborate with a group of beings in Orion in this sort of an order, and that's what I call the Orion contingent. But he's sort of a philosopher and a very wise being, and he's sort of the initiator. The N1 was the initial contact that I had, and he sort of introduced this group and brought up many talking points, many things that he wanted to discuss, and that is the content of both of my books, including the upcoming N1 sessions.
Has he ever given you the answer why you?
That hasn't really been addressed. I did have an experience which clued me in a little bit more, in that perhaps I have, from some other existence, I have some connection with this place in Orion, and maybe these group of beings. I'm not quite sure yet, but I do think it was something to do that perhaps they knew I would be open to the content of what they were saying, and also that I was simply available. I don't have children. My life wouldn't have been, for some people, having these experiences thrust upon them might have really turned their life upside down. And while it was jarring for me, it didn't. I was able to handle it. So I think that it's maybe a combination of those things.
Has he ever shown himself to you?
Just very, very briefly. And one of them was sort of it was sort of a hypnosis session that I did. And he is tall, very distinctive eyes, sort of a sandy hair color, and skin that glows. And that was a very quick glimpse that I got. That's all I know so far.
How did you know it was him?
I just knew. I just knew. And that's, I wish I could say more than that, but I just knew that that's what was being revealed to me.
It's weird because that you say that, because it's very ironic that people like you and I, when we say we just knew when that situation happened, like my first butt kicking into this field was, well, I'm about 5 days away from the 14th anniversary of my butt kicking. Okay. And I saw the angel of death in my mom's eyes.
Oh.
And so what happened there, Chris, was people have often asked me, how did you know it was the angel of death? I just knew.
Yeah.
I knew what I was looking at. I was not 100%. I was 1,000,000% convinced. So when you saw N1, and you're saying that you just knew, I get that.
Yeah. And I wish I could. I don't have anything else to offer as far, I guess, that experience, that very vivid experience, and then this inner knowing that connected all these things together, these past experiences, what was going on, the messages coming through. And I think that was given to me because I needed that. I needed to be shown that in order for it to make sense. And it was a very high experience. Brief as it was something that I really appreciated.
How do you know when he's around?
Well, it's interesting. Sometimes this source, it feels like they're communicating as a group.
Right.
And that energy is a much more, it's a softer, more inquisitive and sort of detached philosophical energy. Right. When N1 comes through, which happened during the first part of the book, definitely is him just coming forth. It's a stronger, more irreverent, comical, and unfiltered energy. Even though it has a lot in common, the same cosmic point of view as the other material from the group consciousness, it has a certain chutzpah to it. and I
Right.
know it's him. That's something I've come to recognize.
So when you say you're having conversations with him, are you channeling him, or are you like sitting down in dream mode? He's giving you these conversive downloads?
It happens in different ways. Mostly it's channeled. Mostly it is channeled, and but I also sometimes use automatic writing, and that can feel like a conversation, like a one-on-one conversation.
Okay, so with that conversation, I've never done automatic writing. So maybe for people who don't know what that is, could you explain what it is?
Sure, it's a form of spirit communication where you are able to relax enough and get into a certain zone or a certain mode where ideas it just the right you take a piece of paper and a pen and it just comes through. For me it happens in sentences, phrases or sentences, one at a time first, and then it kind of just takes over. It's something that I was actually trained in, but I've all these techniques that I was trained in for this contact
Right.
that since 2019 they've sort of expanded, and I've had to adapt them a little bit. But it's a technique where you use breath, and you have to be in a sort of a little bit of a trance state to do it. But it's something anyone can learn, whether it's just picking up messages from spirit, from inner guidance, from whatever source. But automatic writing is a form of spirit communication, I guess you'd say.
So in all the words that you have said tonight on how this kind of started, I'm trying to paint a picture in my head of it because I'm just absolutely intrigued here, Chris. Okay. So when you first got hit with that first channeling session, did you know what was going on where all of a sudden this voice or these images of words in your head were coming from? Did you
Yeah,
think maybe you were having maybe you were a lack of sleep, or maybe you had a couple too many brewskis or too much coffee or whatever?
no, it wasn't like that at all. I initiated it myself. Is that because the source, these experiences were there. I was seeing things. It was right in front of me. And I had at that point I had some training in I guess what you'd call psychic work or different forms of communication. So I actually, just using a simple question and answer technique, I initiated, but then it started coming through with the force that you just described. And it was something that I had to learn to manage or grapple with. I had to learn to harness it because this was different. This very high frequency, I'm going to call it ET energy, was different than anything that I had been that I had worked with before.
Did it scare you right off the bat, or did you, when you reached out and made contact, did it kind of catch you off guard with the response of everything?
Um, there was when it started coming through. I think I was a bit shocked at the flow of it and the speed of it at first, even though it did come through in chunks. The information did, and in the N1 sessions, I think you see that the prologue is sort of in chunks, and then it starts to flow in the first chapter a little more more freely. The thing that scared me at first when I first saw the faces of these beings, and that some of them were human and some of them were not human, including some reptilian faces. And that frightened me, because just of all the bad reputation that reptile beings have in the new age, et
Right.
cetera, et cetera. But I came to realize that not all, that there are benevolent reptilians as well, and actually whole races of benevolent reptilians from Orion, and that I had that my consciousness was expanded
Right.
on that whole subject matter through these sessions that came through.
I don't know if I missed this or if I've even asked you this yet, because I'm just so enthralled in trying to capture everything that you're saying tonight. Why did you initiate contact with this? Why did you go down this path?
Well, because they just wouldn't leave me alone. That's why. That's really the reason why. I felt I was forced to. And perhaps that was the plan maybe from the start. But now even though I still have visions, I still have experiences, they have relaxed tremendously, and it's not so in my face on a day-to-day basis. But I really I initiated. It was more like, what do you want? What is it that you seek? It was sort of had that kind of motivation behind it.
Do they allow you to see their craft when they're
I
around?
have seen many crafts, many crafts. Now, the one in that experience of being in the craft, I saw the control panel and sort of a little bit. It was mostly looking out of the craft through some kind of window. I have been many that look like flying vehicles. And this is used in my first book, Flying Saucer Visions, with this little boy, the main character, Christian, and his experiences. He is seeing all sorts of craft, and I'm still seeing new craft that is new to me, that I've never seen before. So for some reason, though, I am not an engineering person. I am not a particularly scientific minded person. But one thing that has been revealed to me continuously is different types of craft. And I've tried to describe and capture it as best I can.
Have they ever invited you along for a ride?
Mostly just that initial journey, which maybe was a introduction of some kind. So far, since the material has been coming through, that's been the main focus. But we'll see if I go on any journeys in the near future. As long as it's respectful, I'm open to it.
We have 2 minutes to go before we go to break at the bottom of top of the hour. Chris Berryman is our guest tonight. Now, we've heard in the UFO world over the last number of months, maybe a year and a half, 2 years, about summoning, and CE5 has really seemed to take off again. I'm curious, what's the difference between, say, CE5 or summoning compared to what you're doing with N1?
Oh, well, I guess when I think about it, there are some similarities, but is that the Dr. Stephen Greer is one of the leaders of that, I believe. I think he might be. I think that I never stood there and said, extraterrestrials, please come talk to me. They came to me first. And yes, I opened up communication with them, but I never sought this. This is not anything I ever went out and tried to summon on any level. So that
and yet you
that's
can
the
have
main
communication with them anytime you want.
What's that?
And you can have communication with them anytime you want.
Yeah, and it is. I can, and it's something that I try to do in cycles. Like I try to do it in seasonal cycles. But yes, it appears that I can, and that probably many people do and can.
There is just so many questions that I have and so little time before we got to go to break. Let me tell you this, man. I don't know if a lot of people tell you this or not, but as an interviewer, I believe you. I do.
Oh, well, that's great feedback, Dave. Thanks for sharing that.
I really do believe you. And in the next half hour, I want to get into the messages that N1 has given you and what the purpose of those messages are. Because in the end, we can all talk about communication, but we got to know what the medium of the message is, and I want to get into that with you because I think you're a pretty honest guy. I don't think you're pulling anybody's leg here on this. You seem very genuine. And we're going to continue that. Chris Berryman is here tonight. What is it like to channel messages from an alien being? We're going to find out next on Spaced Out Radio. This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott.
All right.
All right, buddy. We have about just over 6 minutes. Okay, I'm going to put you in the green room. I'm going to just disappear for a quick break, and I'll be right back, okay?
Sounds great.
All right. Quickly here. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Michelle, how are you today? Nice to see you. Who else has joined us here? Andromedan, nice to have you back. And we'll get to the rest of you when we come back. I'm just going to put you in the green room, Chris.
Alrighty.
I am back, and let's bring Chris back in. Buddy, this is flying by.
It really is. I'm amazed. I just looked at the time. Wow.
Yeah,
Flying by.
this is a good convo, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to get you to, if you can, turn your speaker down a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit of clicking.
I don't want that. Is that better?
Let me check here because it seems to happen when I'm talking. That's better. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Quickly here in the studio, how you doing? Forrest Louie, how you doing? Susan, how are you? Hope you're well, my dear. MJ, nice to see you. Let me try something on this end here. Let's go here. Try that. And use that. All right, let's try that out. See if that kind of works. Let's see. 18 seconds. AJ and JSDO, thank you for the super chats tonight. Greatly appreciate your love. Tyler, how you doing, my man? Jason Gilmet, how you doing, buddy? How you doing? How's that mustache? Give us an update. Here we go. Here we go with the second hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Greatly appreciate you tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth as we prepare for hour number 2 with author and researcher Chris Berryman and the messages he's receiving from the stars. We want to say hello to everyone tuning us in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Calvis. Calvis is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's bring back our guest. He's an author, he's a researcher, he's an experiencer of the strange and unknown, and he's been channeling a being called N1. And we're about to learn what these messages are momentarily. Chris Berryman, thank you so much for being on Spaced Out Radio tonight.
I'm so happy to be here.
The messages. Let's get right to them. When the messages first started coming from N1, who is an alleged being from the Orion star system, what was it like? Tell us about that first message.
Well, the first message that came through was sort of bigger picture, and this is saying, first of all, it told me you can call me N1. And then went into sort of starting to describe this collective of beings based in Orion. They're even that they exist, I'm told, in these sessions, which is documented in the N1 sessions. They exist in a realm that is perhaps mostly non-physical, but they have the ability to move into the physical. So it's near between the stars Safe and Sirius A is sort of the area of their interdimensional operations. This is what came through in the sessions as well. And then which became the book, many topics were then revealed.
A lot of times people who have contact and get messages from the stars actually seem to have very similar messages where it gets into your planet is dying. You need to take better care. You got to stop the wars. You guys are very infantile in the way you are treating things. You are very, young and angry for no reason. And, we're not going to let you into the Galactic Federation if we keep on working on this, if we don't keep moving here. I mean, Chris, just your thoughts on everything of the messages that you got.
Yes, and I hope something just disappeared. I hope you can still hear me and see me.
Yeah, we got you.
There we go. Okay, yes, this is true. This is so true. And the things you just described about, you guys doing that. Well, that's sort of like that's the basics, the basics. It's when I'm gonna actually read a source, or I want to know more about any source, if they then go into, instead of just blaming or finger pointing, if they go into the reasons why, and that it's not completely our fault, that they can then back up what they're saying and perhaps offer some assistance or inspiration for healing the planet, and working towards solutions to problems. But I think that the fact that a lot of the channeled material is bringing up similar information is because it's true. Because a lot of the channelers are saying similar things, because that's what the reality is out there. But I think I'm going to listen more to any source that helps to explain how we got here and what is going on now, and then looking to the future and perhaps offering some inspiration for bettering ourselves.
Did you, when you started getting these messages, believe them right off the bat, or did you have to kind of warm up to the fact that this is actually happening? It's not imagination.
I think I try to just record them, not judge the material. I try to just stay relaxed and open and in tune, so I could receive the material, and without prejudice, without judgment, and just record it as it was coming through. So perhaps I had, we talked about that lingering doubt, that or lack of confidence that might creep in. I tried to just sit with that and let it be there, and continue the process and get better at the process. And that's what led to the N1 sessions.
As the communication started, how long was it going? Like, how often was it happening?
I would do it in moon cycles. So I would do it twice a month. That's kind of how the sessions came through. That was sort of a choice of mine to do it, because I wanted to be, it helped me feel in tune with a higher existence, doing it in the moon cycles, which had a little more, those days have a little more power to me. So that was sort of the deal that was agreed upon. And so I did it then, and that was a nice balance. But then in between, I would take the messages that came through and then try to transcribe them. And so they started piling up. They started collecting over the years. Really, we're talking about the years of the pandemic. So it was something that accumulated over time.
And since then, how have the messages transformed?
They have transformed. The messages that are in the book, the N1 sessions, they're like sort of the foundation, bigger picture, major cultural clashes, school shootings, cults. This is the subject matter of a lot of these sessions. The deception and interference from beings who might be a little more malevolent, as in also the myriad light races that exist in our multiverse. So these are some of the topics of these sessions, and they're presented in the N1 sessions as seasonal essays, short seasonal essays. And since then, since that foundation was laid, that groundwork was laid in place, they can now riff on that and expand upon what they said originally. So it's kind of in a cool place right now, what's coming through right now.
What kind of questions do you ask?
I ask, first of all, I usually just let it come through as it wants to come through. And then I'll ask more questions. And at the end of the N1 sessions is a whole section devoted to Q&A, which was basically looking back at the book and then say, well, what questions remain? What do I want clarification on? So I asked all of them, and then I got an answer from the source. Common practice with channeling. And so I want to know if something is vague or blurry, or I don't really understand it. I want clarity. I want to be able to get what is coming through, and I want it to be fluent. And luckily it's always been quite fluent since the beginning. I don't find this, even though they're talking about some abstract, higher quantum metaphysical subjects. I think it's accessible. I think anyone could read this book and sort of tune in to what is being said. So I want clarity, I guess. Those are the types of questions that I ask this source.
Okay, so give us an example. When you talk about clarity, what kind of questions would you follow up on? Like, would you ask like simple questions like, what's the weather like up there? How many people are in your civilization, or how many beings?
How many people are in your civilization is covered. Also, there's a chapter called about light particles. This is one of their main focuses of the research and experimentation that they're doing. And so basically I put the question forth, how does this technology work when you take these particles and use them? What do you use them for? How do you get them? And that is all described then in the book. What purpose do they serve? And one of the answers was, well, we're opening a portal for transdimensional communication from your world to ours. So that's part of one of the things that these particles can be used for. And we're talking about technology that we're just beginning to understand. You see scientists talking about particles more and more here, but I think it just feels like we're just starting to understand what that means and what potential that phenomena has. Have you ever asked them if they've traveled here? Yes, and the answer is yes. It is described in the N1 sessions that their members of their contingent were here in some form in the ancient times, perhaps like the New Stone Age or a similar time period, or near that time period. And also, I'm told that they do come here, not necessarily in the physical. This is a little bit hard to grasp. They have the ability to come. Their bodies are here, but they're not here. They're like holograms, and they're able to come here and then move into our physical 3D realm. It's mostly to sample things, to sample natural phenomena, including light particles near power zones here on Earth. So that's a little bit hard to wrap our brains around, but that is something that I've also read about other people describing extraterrestrials with having this ability to move from the non-physical into the physical and back again.
Have they ever explained to you how long they've been coming here and visiting Earth?
I think they I don't know if they were one of the first group of ETs to do that, but it's described in the N1 sessions that they were guests pretty much from the start, you know, from the origins of our species here. And that the original purpose of this planet was to be a place where there was this guardian home species, us, but that we would interact more with star ancestors, star beings. And like you talked about the First Nations communicating to you about different things, this is sort of, you hear, you know, descriptions about star ancestors from different tribes and different indigenous people. Sort of similar to that, I think.
The beings that you are dealing with, have they told you who they are? Because when we think Orion in this field, we immediately think of the Anunnaki, and many people believe the Anunnaki is one of the starters of human life on this planet. You know, so I'm just curious, are they Anunnaki or are they something different?
No, the Anunnaki are mentioned, but that's interesting. There's different researchers and different experiencers have, it seems like they have different takes on who the Anunnaki really are. I guess it just means those who came down. So that could mean more than one race, actually. But if you're talking like Sitchin in sort of that definition of it, what they describe as the Anunnaki were actually hybrid reptilians from Sirius B, who perhaps then moved into Orion or moved into other places, and perhaps they have a hand in what's going on this planet right now. They're sort of one of the real estate brokers of planet Earth. But this contingent, and this is in line with the beings that I saw originally and how they're described in the N1 sessions, is a smaller group, a mixture, a melange of races. There are galactic humans, there are amphibians, there are a few reptilians who are working with the light and working with wisdom teachings, as well as other races, some completely non-physical, and some who exist more in a, have the ability to exist in a physical realm. So there are really, I'm told, I think it says in the N1 sessions, a foundation of 7 different races. So this group is a mixed group.
Are they more humanoid? Are there humanoids involved?
Some of them are, and some of them are not. And N1 is more, the leader is humanoid.
Do they combine themselves with other beings, say the Pleiadians or the Lyrans or the the Nephilim from back on the day?
Yeah. They I'm told in the sessions that they intermingle and collaborate with Pleiadians. They work very much with light beings from Sirius A, and that is sort of I'm told N1's origin is Sirius A. So mostly, I think the contingent is mostly made up of beings from Orion and Sirius A. And there's actually a picture of one of these beings from a session, from a vision I had when I woke up one morning. And it's sort of a interesting, not quite like a gray, not tall, slender, willowy white. It was a being at the time I had never really seen before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We got 4 minutes to go here before we have to go to break at the bottom of the hour. just when I think I get on a roll with questions with you, I look at the clock and I'm like, darn it, we're running out of time once again. So I do want to ask you, the fact that you have this consistent connection with these beings from Orion and the Sigma star system in the Orion constellation, do they ever just talk about the future of humanity, where we're going, what they expect from us? Little things like, are they going to allow us to destroy this planet? Because there's a lot of rumors from people who have contacts saying that, you know what, they're going to let us live our free will, but if we ever get stupid and hit the buttons, that's when they're going to pop in and say, yeah, we're not going to be doing this, kids.
I get the sense just from my intuition that what you just said is true, that yes, the free will, but if we start to, because this is not, if we start to get to a place where we're about to destroy the planet, I believe there would be an intervention. That's just I don't know that, but that's just sort of my take in my gut intuition on the whole situation. Yes, but this entire book, the N1 sessions, is exactly what you just said. Inspiration about how this can work. And they're not freaking out too hard. They see they see us as a species that is waking up. And they seem excited about what's going on. They see the interference. They see what we need to overcome. But they also let us know that there's a lot of frequency control going on this planet right now. So it's not, we've been given a raw deal from the start. And it's our job, because we're the ones who live here, to take ownership of that and not engage with that, whatever you want to call it, that matrix, that interference, that control that is kind of designed to slow down or stop our ascension. For
Go to
lack of a better
Cage on
word.
the inside. We have 2 minutes to go here. What are they telling you about things we could do here to save ourselves and the planet then?
First of all, they say that starting with ourselves and being at peace with ourselves is the start. Because if we can accept ourselves, then we're not going to abuse others, and there's a greater chance that we might not abuse resources as well. So accepting ourselves as interdimensional beings as well is a big part of it. And once we're there, just opening that door opens tremendous possibilities. And then in the N1 sessions, it goes on and on from there about what is possible.
Give us a little taste of that.
Things like somatic awareness, and in the appendix there are 10 exercises as well to move into this more deeply. And this involves being aware of our body-mind system, of our breath, of our ability to sort of go inside our bodies and heal, and to process emotion, process trauma. That we have the ability, developing our ESP on a greater level. Everyone has these psychic abilities, these intuitive, natural abilities to develop this so we can see more and see into other realms more easily. And also the ability to easily project ourselves. I guess you could call this astral projection. We can travel in the cosmos without leaving our bedrooms or leaving our couches. So we can experience, we don't really need spaceships, because we can travel in the universe with our energy bodies. These are big topics in these sessions.
Chris, I'm going to get you to hold on right there, because we are going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. We only have 30 more minutes with author and researcher Chris Berryman. We're going to continue the conversation about what it's like to channel an alien being that he calls N1. The N1 session, the book is coming out soon. We're glad Chris is here. I totally buy this story. I totally do. And it's very, very intriguing.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we are clear. Oh, this is a good one.
Yeah, it's still flying by.
I hope you're having fun.
Good. Oh, I am. This is a really vigorous conversation. And I unplugged my charger. I don't know if that helped with that. I hear that cracking now.
Yeah, it's when I speak, it's coming through your speaker.
Oh, okay. I don't know what to do about that.
That's all right. I'm not too worried about it.
Okay. Okay.
But man, this has been awesome, Chris.
Yeah, this is what you asked such great you asked the gut questions that people probably are thinking. So this is really different, and I really like how it's going.
Good. Make sure you tell your publisher.
I will. Oh my God, yes. Yeah, they should send everyone to you.
Well, as long as they deal with our topics, we're good.
Yeah, well, and it's all paranormal, so $6 is all things paranormal.
I'm having a lot of fun, and I'll be honest with you, Chris, you're a good guy too, and that's how I know you're telling the truth with your story, is because you're coming across extremely genuine with what's going on. You're not.
If I
like
babble if I babble incoherently, please cut me off.
No, but you know what? I will say this: I've interviewed a couple thousand people in 11 years doing this show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on year 11 now. And I can tell you this, man, I can see and tell when somebody is completely
blowing
BS
smoke. Yeah.
Or trying to exaggerate what's going on.
Yeah.
And more importantly, our audience can see it too.
Oh yeah.
You know, but you're coming across extremely genuine. And I know from my personal experiences, yours are different, but there's a lot of strong similarities between what's happened to you and what's happened to me.
Yeah.
And I feel a connection towards that.
Yes. Yes. I feel everything you said. Well, and we're both in the north here. I have my family. I have Canadian roots and also upper Michigan roots. So it's more of a, I think that we want to communicate in a more down to earth way, and that's the best way to, especially if you're going to try to introduce these topics to people who maybe are a little bit nervous about them.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's best to just try to be as clear and direct as possible.
Well, and that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
And I get that from you. I totally get that from you. And I appreciate that honesty with my audience. And I know they're loving it too. I'm reading the comments. They're freaking loving you, which is good.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
This is awesome. We got about another minute 20.
Cool. I'm just gonna get some water real quick.
Go ahead. I like this guy, man. I do. I really like him, and I think he's doing honest work. He's not trying to blow sunshine up our asses. He's just telling us what is actually happening. You know? Oh, thank you, Cat Chaser. You're awesome. Thank you to Cat Chaser, AJ, and JSCO for the great super chats tonight. Very much appreciate your love and support, everybody. It's a good way to support what we do because, like, literally, we're here nightly. If you haven't noticed, we're here nightly. Like, this is what happens when you don't have a life, people. You do a radio show. You do. You do it nightly. All right. There's Chris. And we got about 15 seconds. Remember to shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. You can still get your stuff before Christmas. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. So make sure you check it on out. Here we go in 3 seconds. We're into the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. We always appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hey, we want to remind all of you that if you miss portions of this show or others, I hope you know that our archives are always free. You can catch the video side on YouTube or on any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Final time tonight, we're glad to have our guest, Chris Berryman, is here. He's an author, researcher, experiencer, channeler. We're talking about this really cool subject of him channeling a being from the Orion constellation called N1. And it's called the N1 session. And Chris, we're so proud to have you here tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, I'm having a great time, Dave.
I hope so, man. And even if you're lying, I'm okay with that. You know, because it sounds good to the listeners. Yeah, Dave's awesome. Dave does a good show. Yeah, just keep it up. The check is in the mail.
Already.
Right before the break, you were talking about these sessions that you were having. You do them twice a month. Do you call for the sessions or do they call for the sessions?
That's a good question. I think it's sort of like, it feels like it's been agreed upon, but I just say just with my life, it's just sort of like, okay, this is what I can do. And sometimes it becomes longer. That's, you know, it's more like from, I'll do the autumn equinox and then like the first moon in November, but it's continuous. And sometimes I'll do it for, just one day. Sometimes I'll do it for several days in a row. It feels like an agreement though. It feels like something that's been, that both sides of the coin are cool with.
When you have communication, is it symbolic, emotional, telepathic, or sometimes visual?
When the communication happens, when it's coming through, it's sort of it's a subconscious. I can't say that my body mind is involved. I relax and I put myself in a light trance state. Mm-hmm. But what it feels like is that it's an active translation, because it's coming through as energy that then turns into words and a voice, and that I just let speak through me. But sometimes it happens it's crazy. It happens very fast. Sometimes in the moment there's an act of quick translation that I get a feeling impression and I know what's being said. So it's just a matter of verbalizing it. It's a unique process that I'm still learning, that I'm still a student of. But I think that my ability is increasing in being able to harness that and express it and put it into form. And eventually in these sessions, it's come into written form. So it's been a trip, and it's been a learning experience too.
You have been doing this for 6 years now. What have you learned about yourself going through this never-ending story of communication with an ET?
I've learned that I guess I didn't realize some of the defenses that I had previously, and that how I've gone through phases of my life like where I didn't perhaps respect myself or value myself as much as I could have. In what these sessions and what the material has shown me is this interconnectedness that is just part of who I am, who you are, who this whole existence here on this realm. There's such possibility. So it's really opened up. It's opened up a new world to me. A world that I knew existed, but it's really expanded it and ramped it up.
When you're doing this, are you doing it alone, or do you have somebody watching along with you?
I do it alone. Isn't that crazy? Some people might think that's dangerous, but that's what works for me. But I'm not really alone, because I have guides, spirit guides that I work with, that I've learned to work with, and they're sort of they serve as they coordinate the whole thing. I couldn't do it without them. They almost like they open the portal to the connection with the Orion beings. Yeah, so I'm not totally alone, but I'm the only person in the physical when these sessions happen in my home.
And that doesn't scare you or cause fear?
I think maybe at the beginning it does, but now, no, because I feel in alignment with it, and I know how to. I do have an agreement with spirit or in my guidance, that if anything tries to move in that is not wisdom, light, consciousness, higher awareness, that is not the source, that to alert me, and will pull the plug immediately. But that's never happened. It's always flowed quite nicely, and quite without, it's just happened on its own.
As this has gone on, has it increased other communication with other beings, whether it's paranormal, ghosts, spirits, or maybe even into the cryptid world?
Oh, something weird. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, great. I had to plug in there for a second. I had an awareness of that previously to a degree, but what doing these sessions and what having this connection has given me, one of the things it's given me, is utter courage if in confronting any presence that I might think is there. When you and I'm not gonna try to boast too much, because I want to make sure I'm still that I'm still protected, but in alignment. But once you've worked with the higher energy, you get brave with any lower energy that might try to come around. One example is, like, sometimes you'll see, and a lot of people talk about these little beings with the red eyes who might come around. Have you ever seen those guys? They're not in the physical, like in their energy, their spirits. Have you ever seen them?
I've never seen the red eyes, no.
Well, good, because they can come around, but they're nothing. They're minions. They exist to get like a kick to try to frighten people. And so if anything like that comes around, I'm just like, get lost, It's I don't have a lot of fear doing this at this stage of the game. I don't know. Maybe I should have more, but I just don't.
Let's get to some audience questions here. Let's go to Jaren's here, who is asking, do you ever get sick or nauseous when you pass through the Stargate to communication?
No, I do not. But I think I have felt nauseous when once I was in Sedona, and I think I was near like one of the ley lines or the energy lines there, and I definitely felt nauseous there. But when working with any kind of higher energy, I've learned to ground. And there's many grounding techniques out there, with just sort of letting the earth energy come through your feet. And that really can dissipate any symptoms, for me at least, any symptoms, any weird sensations or blockages. I think the grounding helps a lot with any symptoms like nausea or dizziness or lightheadedness or instability.
Do you ever get the channeling hangover the next day?
Sometimes I have to rest. I mean, it's definitely not when I'm doing it. It's, again, I get the hangover when I have to go into the work and try to work with it or transcribe it or work with it for an extended period of time. That's when I get the like, ooh, I gotta rest right now. It usually doesn't come from the channeling itself, unless it's a byproduct of that. I don't know. But when I notice it is when I have to take it easy, is when I have to go in and sort of be in it for an extended period of time.
When I used to channel, like deep channeling, I'd get the next day, it felt like, and I'm not a drinker, but it would feel like I just absolutely sauced it up all night. And then the next day, my body was just killing me.
Yeah, that can happen. And I think that using some of these techniques for grounding and there's in the N1 session, it describes being in a bath or a shower or a body of water, how to clear your system that way with water. That's a great technique that helps too. I use that a lot, actually. And I actually do that before I do a session. That lets me be clear and let this electricity just flow through me. One person who I think was a phenomenal channel, and I love her so much, I love the work, her books, is Jane Roberts in the Seth material. And she ended up dying quite young, but maybe that was just her time. I don't know. Maybe that was part of her contract. But there's a possibility, because some people saw her in the later period of her life, and she didn't seem well. So that might have been like not being able to conduct. Like there was so much electric energy coming through her from channeling like so consistently that it maybe didn't get released completely, or it didn't she wasn't able to conduct it in her physical body as well. I don't know that for sure, but that could have been something that happened in the sort of the mid 20th century. I think we've got a lot of tools now that can help us with that hangover thing you're talking about.
Joe is asking, has N1 ever told you anything about the star Betelgeuse possibly going supernova? That's the shoulder star in the Orion constellation. Our scientists say it can happen at any moment.
N1 has not spoken to me about that, but that is a fascinating topic, and I'm going to try to look into that more.
That would definitely affect your communication if that happened.
You think?
Right? Like, holy cow. All right, let's go to Andromedan. Are there snow-like planets in the Orion star system? Have you ever asked?
Are there what?
Snow-like planets?
Snow-like planets. I have not heard about that, but I have heard a description of a variety of physical and non-physical territories. So I think there's tremendous variety in that star system. They have not talked to me about, they're mostly talking about Earth, to be honest. They've given some descriptions of their environments, but they're mostly talking about us. They're generous that way.
What's their big intrigue with us?
That we cannot, it's perhaps a frustration or a concern that we don't follow the herd too much, and that we must think for ourselves at this time when there's many forces at play behind the scenes on this planet. Many forces of different cosmic sources, as well as some interesting interactions in groups and influences right here on the planet as well. So the one of the big messages is to think for ourselves, to have open dialogue that does not become volatile. Because when like, say on the internet or social media, when these vicious public attacks break out, there are repercussions on an energy level. It can almost be like the Roman Colosseum or something, and that there are entities that feed off of that emotion, that dark emotion, that heavy emotion that's generated. So that's one of the things that they want to bring to our attention, even more so, especially as the AI and the digital technologies move in even more, as they keep expanding.
Let's go back to Andromeda in here for a second. Have the groups ever said what will happen to this solar system?
They have started to talk about how, there's a possibility that everything will come to completion, but they have talked about how we can, through these changes that are happening, and even changes, these environmental changes that we're experiencing right now, how we can, working with the technology that we have right now, how we can roll with the punches and not get too freaked out, because there's new awareness that's coming through. So any changes that might be happening in the cosmos, in the climate environment, in the climate situation of this planet, that they're kind of saying, hold on tight, because there are new technologies coming through from very evolved souls here on the planet, and to not panic and go into catastrophe mode too much. So not so much what you're talking about, but something similar, I guess.
Let's move on to another question. We got about 6 minutes to go here. Let's go to Jules here, who is asking, do you ever record your sessions?
Oh, I record all of them generally. That's the first step in the process. And then I try to put them, because most of them have been so far in written form, either posted online or in the books. But I always record into a device first. That's the first step of my process.
How long do your sessions usually last?
They're not tremendously long. It seems like most of them fall in the 15-minute category. And so once you take out the gassy wording and any repetition that might come through in the book, in the N1 sessions, they're short essays. They're only between 5 and 10 pages each. So it feels like it's important, and I think the source understands this, that it should be in digestible units. that this material should be presented in units that you can take in a little bit at a time. And I think that's important.
How do you feel about it all?
How do I feel about it?
Yeah.
I feel invigorated. I feel excited about it. When I go back and look at it, I'm excited about the vibration of it and about the possibilities that are coming through, the possibilities for collaboration with star beings and sort of just a greater consciousness moving in, not just through my work, but through many people's work. So I have a sense of excitement. It has been a labor of love. It's been a lot of work, and I'm excited for this to move out into the world now, and more people can experience it and then react to it and use it any way they want to.
Do you ever look at it like this is, let me rephrase. Do you ever look at the fact that there may be an end? Have they given you an end date to this communication?
It feels like it has come in waves. I do think this is for this group. I think that there will be an end date. I think that I'm kind of halfway through right now. So maybe another few years, and then we'll see what happens. I think I'll know when it's completely done. I think right now they're wanting to expand on what has been said initially. Sort of like have to put the basic message first, and now we can go into the nuances of it. And it's some of the material it ricochets or chimes in with some other material out there, but I find it to be a unique take on even that. This realm that they live in, it's different from the origins of some of the other extraterrestrial or sources, or extraterrestrial or spirit sources that other people have channeled, I think.
I know with my area that I investigate, which I call Flight 21, this area, when they channeled into me last year at this time, I literally got haunted by the location for about a month and saying, hey, when are you coming back? When are you coming back?
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up, I've never been a researcher before. I'm an enthusiast, man. I really am. But I started a research project this year, and they immediately told me a minimum 2 to 3 years, whoever they are. So that's why I was asking if you had a time
so
limit.
Did they said 2 or 3 years
Minimum.
Total contact, or 2 or 3 years before they're going to come back again?
No, 2 to 3 years at this location to investigate minimum.
Okay. Yeah. Mine has been a little longer with than that so far, but it's been it's come in doses though. So they time and space, they seem to have the patience of Job, these beings. So
Right.
I think if I'm willing to receive what they have to say, and there's still more that they want to say, it'll keep coming through. We'll see.
Chris, I know it's late for you on the East Coast, but I want to say a big thank you for coming on Spaced Out Radio tonight. Where can people find your material, your books, your research?
Sure. My website is berrymanbooks.com, and that's going to be getting a lot of upgrades in the near future. And you can order the N1 sessions on Amazon or Barnes and Noble's website, pretty much anywhere books are sold. Pre-order is open right now, and it comes out in February.
I appreciate you coming on the show, my man. This has been a lot of fun.
It's been great. What an interesting conversation. Thanks for having me, Dave.
Not a problem. Chris Berryman, everybody. Coming up next, we have Swamp Dweller. Then the wizard will put his pointy hat on and take us right through the UFO report.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
My friend, I told you that was going to fly by.
It did. It did. Yeah. Thanks for sticking sticking it out with me.
Dude, this was so much fun. I really
It was a blast.
appreciated this one. Thank you very much.
Good. Good. Thanks so much, Dave. And I'll look for that. So it'll be on is YouTube your main
Yeah,
platform?
that's the easiest. Or any major podcast network, you could download it. Share it for free on your website. I don't mind.
Okay, sounds great.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Take
Stay in
care.
touch. Chris Berryman, everybody. I like him. I like him a lot. I'll be right back. All right. I am back. Let's bring in the wizard. There he is.
There he is.
There he is.
There he is.
What's
So, Dave, I don't have a wizard hat yet.
That's close enough, my friend.
But I've got a Grogu hat.
That is close enough. That works. That totally works. That's beautiful. Beautiful. Blue Skies, how you doing? Welcome. And anybody else jump in here? Yeah. We're good. Thank you tonight to Blue Cruise, Cat Chaser, AJ, and JSCO for our super chats. Greatly appreciate your love and support, everybody. Thank you very, very much. And Matthew Goodka, how you doing? Good night, Forrest Louie. Sleep well. We got 30 seconds. Swamp Dweller will be a little bit long, around 6.5 minutes. So then we'll get going.
Okay.
And kind of go from there, buddy.
All right, man.
All right. 10 seconds. And here we go, everyone. We're into the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for tuning us in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hey, we want to say hello to everyone tuning us in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot. Read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Calvis. Calvis is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night. Right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp.
Our yearly visits brought us peace, clarity, and respect for nature. But last year's trip ended in one of the most horrifying and distressing incidents of my entire life. One that completely changed the way I see the world and the way I consider the human mind. Year in, year out, we take an overnight coach up across the border, then hike out to a place called Loch Aber. The loch is a private fishing lake, supposedly reserved for members of a local fishing club who ensure the waters are chock full of fish for them to catch, which makes it oh so easy for us to pull a quick in-and-out raid to catch enough of the smaller rough fish for dinner. I'm serious. 45 minutes and we're golden. And take it from any fisherman, that is lightning speed for a half-decent catch. But last year we decided we were tired of the same old digs and set our gazes on a different part of the map. According to a map that we had found, it told us that there was a similarly deep loch about 30 miles east known as Loch D. We figured it would be a perfect fishing spot, and we were right. Sure, it wasn't as quick fire as the private members lake, but it came with considerably less guilt. Everything was going perfect. That was until the second night, when in the middle of a campfire drinking session, one of my buddies jumped out of his seat and recoiled from the fire. "What the hell is that?" he asked, sort of calmly at first. "Nothing more than cautious confusion." "Who's who?" someone replies lazily. "Someone moving through the trees back there." He was pointing into the trees directly behind my back. I actually gave a hoot of sarcastic laughter at first, thinking he was trying to scare us. But the moment it became obvious that he was not messing around and a jolt of fear went through my freaking face, I leaped out of my seat, spun around, and shined my torch into the darkness. You could feel the tension among us rising as we desperately looked around for who might have been stalking us out here. Torch beams darted across the trees, inspecting every trunk or thicket of the bushes, but there was nothing that we could see, no sign of the person my friend had seen. "Hello?" someone called out, immediately shushed by the rest of us. No one wanted to give away our position, but at the same time, we needed to know if there was someone out there, watching us. But again, there was just silence. "I think you've had a bit too much to drink, mate," I remember saying to the guy who supposedly seen a figure walking through the trees. "I'm fine, I barely touched that bells I brought. I swear to God I saw someone just then." "Like who?" someone asked. "Man, woman, young, old, what?" I don't know," he replied shakily. "But they were big. Really big." "The only big thing around here is your bloody imagination, mate. Now go get your head down. It's been a long day." And it had. Thanks to the overnight coach, no one really sleeps on the journey up to Scotland. I mean, they close their eyes, maybe, get a few minutes of sleep, listen to some chill music through their headphones, but they never really sleep. So everyone ends up being pretty wrecked by the end of the first night. The next morning we felt even worse. The first night after such a long journey is usually one where we sleep like the dead. But not that night. None of us could quite relax. Not with the possibility of having someone stalking us in the back of our minds. Thank God we were only planning to fish that day, as we really were not in the mood for anything else, given how bloody exhausted we were. After breakfast, we marched down to the loch with our fishing gear. It's a gorgeous area, a crisp, blue lake ringed by hills. It's not unusual to get some really nice, sunny days up in Scotland too, especially during the summer. But that day, the sky was horrible, grimy gray, like the sun had barely risen at all. I was tired, half soaked from the drizzle, and barely even excited to be fishing for my dinner. I actually hoped that something exciting would happen, and for my sins, my wish came true. "Look," one of us shouted. "Over there, on the other side of the loch. Jesus Christ, can you see that thing?" It was the same lad that had seen someone or something walking through the trees. Where? We were terrified. One sighting could have been his eyes playing tricks on him. Another could possibly be a mistake, right? "There," he said, pointing. "Just on the other side. It came out of the trees for a moment, then disappeared again. Please tell me you saw that." "Mate, just calm down. It's probably just—" "I know what I saw, and we need to get the hell out of these bloody woods right now," he said, grabbing up his gear in a panic. I remember him rushing off back to camp, one of the lads following him, still trying to calm him down. But it was impossible. He was manic, scared half to death by whatever he had briefly seen. I asked the other boys if they had seen anything. Each shook their head. None had any idea what he was talking about, but that didn't mean they weren't just as freaked out over his outburst. We were supposed to stay for 7 full nights, but that second one was our last. We managed to talk the lad who was panicking down, convincing him to stay a few nights more at the very least. We'd come all this way, and I wasn't about to let us just leave because we were a wee scared of something. But it didn't end there. In the middle of the night, the lad had been seeing something burst out of his tent, waking up each of us before saying, "Can you hear that?" There was silence. Dead silence. I mean, I strained my ears trying to hear what he could hear, but there was nothing. He was scratching at his own ears, gritting his teeth, rocking back and forth in the dirt. It's like the sound was completely overwhelming him. That's the exact moment I realized that maybe something was happening. Maybe there was no monster. Maybe it was all in his head. He was experiencing a psychotic break, and it was all in his head.
Thank you, Swamp Dweller, for a creepy story. We love them. That's why we kick off hour 3 of this show with Swampy each and every night. If you want more, head on over to his YouTube channel, Swamp Dweller. Hit subscribe, ring that bell. Thousands of stories there for you to choose from each and every night. It's time for The Wizard.
Space Out Radio presents a
The wizard Josh Rutledge is back for another edition of the UFO Report. And Josh, we always appreciate you coming on into Spaced Out Radio Land. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. Fantastic. Another week of UFO activities. And also, getting closer to the holiday season for those that celebrate any of the holidays that occur in December.
What is on your Christmas list?
Disclosure. No.
Well, you know what? Santa Claus may not be able to deliver that one.
Yeah. Krampus probably could. Krampusnacht was just like last week, I think. So anybody who celebrates Krampusnacht, be on the lookout.
So what is on your list? Come on.
For real. I really just at all times of the year, I have various projects that I'm working on. And so I asked my family just to give either cash or Amazon gift cards because I just like right now, I'm working on taking this little guy right here, which is a Bluetooth Wi-Fi receiver or a transmitter for like a switch. And I'm wiring it into my Madar device so that when I get an alert, it'll notify me on my phone. And then I'm going to be working on an additional trigger for when that happens to start rolling an outdoor camera so that maybe I'll catch whatever is causing the Madar to alert. So like little stuff like that I'm always kind of tinkering with. And so, yeah, cash and Amazon gift card. That's what I asked my family for. So
I have instructed my family over the years, don't ever get me a gift certificate. I am Mr. Anti-gift certificate, man. I am.
My wife's family was pretty firm against them for a long time. But it, like I've been on the receiving end of some gifts that I could tell somebody put a lot of thought into it, but also I don't know who they were thinking about when they bought it because it's not something that I would wear or use or whatever. So sometimes it's just easier to give me a gift card and I can get what I want. So
I hear that. I can understand that. But I will literally look at my family and say, you don't love me. My sister's the queen of giving out gift cards. And I'm like, don't ever get me one. Don't ever get me one. You do the name draw. Oh, great. Yeah. It's a Starbucks gift card. You know how often I go to Starbucks? Never. Right?
Yeah. But everybody goes to Amazon, right? See, that's like, like if you get me a Nordstrom gift card, I'm never going to use that. I'm going to sell that to my wife for the cash value. Right. But Amazon, everybody goes to Amazon. So,
yep.
The other thing though, that, I do like to receive occasionally is, I built a shelf above I've got a couch in my office here and I built a shelf that runs the full length of the back of the couch. And I put all kinds of little like Funkos and I'm a big ET, like the movie guy. So I've got a bunch of different ET characters. I got 1980s Gizmo and things like that. So, if somebody puts some thought into getting me like a cool Funko, like I've got a bunch of Star Trek Funkos and stuff. That would be another thing, technically not on my list, but if somebody was like, I don't want to get him just a gift card, they could find me a cool Funko or some other kind of collectible figure that I could display. That'd be cool too. So
I got myself my Christmas present already.
Yeah.
And that was, I bought myself Guns N' Roses tickets.
Yeah.
So being able to rock out with my little dude at Guns N' Roses, that makes me happy.
When is that concert?
August.
Okay.
August in Vancouver.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out a way that I could get to Vegas the week before and go see them in Vegas as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. because I'm a little bit addicted to GNR. I am. I'm not going to lie. You know, it'll be time number 9 for me seeing them, so I'm pretty happy about that.
I owned a GNR tape once.
Yeah.
That's but like I am not really a concert guy because they're almost too loud. Like I can't actually enjoy the music because it's just too freaking loud.
Oh,
So
I love live concerts. Love live concerts. Just one of those things. Kills my ears, but I absolutely love them. Absolutely love them. All right, let's get to the UFO side of things. What's going on in the world today?
yeah. So I got a few things for you. One, it's kind of an older interview. It happened in November, but it kind of flew under the radar. I don't remember seeing it or talking about it. But Dave Grush was on Fox News on November 21st of this year, talking really, they were like, kind of talking about the Age of Disclosure documentary because it was coming out, that weekend. And so they had Grush on. And I thought it was really interesting when the Fox News host introduced him. They, of course, introduced him as a whistleblower, which, you and I can agree to disagree on that. But they also said that he was an advisor to the UAP task force. And that's the first time, to my knowledge, that Dave Grush has been introduced as an advisor to the UAP task force.
Yeah, I don't recall ever hearing that.
So I find that incredibly interesting because do you think that they mean the old UAP task force, or do you think they mean Arrow?
Well,
'Cause-
considering he doesn't have a lot of love for Arrow after the way he was allegedly treated by Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, who's the former head of the program,
Right.
I don't think it would be Arrow per se. I think it would have been the defunct UAP task force.
Well, I mean, I could see that for sure, but also, Arrow's underneath new management, and new management seems to be taking the subject more seriously. So I don't know. It'd be interesting. I think it potentially could benefit them if they are treating the topic seriously. Having someone like Grush being, their phone a friend when they get stuck into something.
Here is the anomaly of David Grush. He came out like lightning bolts with a bunch of information that we had never really heard before. Okay. And granted, it was secondhand information, but the stories that he was telling us were confirmations on rumors that we had heard for years when he came public about almost 3 years ago now.
Yep.
Okay. Then he went absolutely silent for about a year and a half. And then comes out when the new video or movie for the Age of Disclosure was released on Amazon Prime. And the one thing that I think has happened, and I'm curious your opinion on this because it is mine. Okay. I think David Grush, as strong as the UFO community wants to support him, I think he could have gained a lot more trust and faith, not only from the UFO community, but from the entire media circus out there if he would have kept talking. Now, I realize there were personal attacks. Okay. I'm not downplaying the personal attacks where people went after his medical records, where where government officials were allegedly calling him up on his home phone and threatening him, threatening his wife, their careers, their financial situation, retirement packages, everything. We know for a time being that he couldn't speak on anything because his top secret clearance was removed. They did everything to beat this guy up behind the scenes that we know of, allegedly.
Yeah.
I have to use the word allegedly because that's what makes it legal.
Yeah.
Okay. So all of a sudden, we have him just showing up because him and his buddies are in this new movie, The Age of Disclosure. Imagine where we would be if he kept talking, Josh.
Well, and that's, I wondered if, because we know that Age of Disclosure was filmed, probably around the time that he presented his testimony at the UAP hearing. I wonder if he went silent because everything he had to say was in the Age of Disclosure movie. Even though I think in this, there's a discussion that there's going to be a part 2 of Age of Disclosure, which will have even more content in it from different people and even more stuff from Grush. So I wonder if it was a matter of, hey, I spilled my beans to Dan Farah. It's not my fault. He took a year and a half to get the documentary out.
But do you not think it would be a more powerful statement if he had kept talking or continues to keep talking rather than dodging interview requests?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean, so the one side is that at the end of the day, Dave Rush can only tell us what he's approved to tell us, right? This is the whole thing of classified stuff. So, what is one of the bigger complaints that we have of a lot of these quote unquote whistleblowers that have come forward? It's that they keep telling us the same information. Every new interview, every new appearance on a TV show or whatever, it's all just a regurgitation of the same information because they're not cleared to tell us anything more. So if he would have stayed, in the media eye, let's say, and did a lot of interviews, post his thing, and just stayed actively podcast and so on and so forth, I think we would be in the same boat with him now that we are with some of the others, and that they don't ever share any new information. So, we, the community, would be less likely, I think, to listen to anything he has to say if he would have stayed media active for the 18 months between his testimony and now. But now he can, come out and say the things that he's saying, and it's kind of fresh, if you will. I mean, because in this interview, he also said that Trump and the Trump administration has been fully briefed, and he really stroked Trump's ego as being the historical president to make a historical statement, to disclose the truth, and that Trump has everything he needs in order to be the first president to do this. And just I when I heard that part, I took it as, he's really trying to stroke Trump's ego in hopes that Trump will say, "Oh yeah, I could totally do this thing," and then do it. But yeah, he says that in the interview. So, Fox News ran with it, and everybody is picking the Daily Mail picked it up, and a bunch of other people picked it up and said, look, Trump knows the truth, and Trump can tell us anytime he wants. So maybe that'll prod Trump into actually telling people. But so I feel like in that regard, he's more effective having not been publicly available for the last 18 months. Because it's almost like he's a new player on the field, even though he, went into partial retirement for 18 months.
And on that note, I'm going to get you to hold on right there, because the UFO report with the man we call the wizard, Josh Rutledge, is here tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We have him right till the top of the hour.
This is Spaced Out Radio and your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we're clear, buddy.
Coo.
Good times. Very good times. Excuse me. All right.
So I tried to make a comment in the chat, but for some reason YouTube blocked it. I don't know why.
I don't know.
But
That happens every now and again, and then I get blamed for it.
oh, sorry. All I was trying to say is that somebody should write a screenplay for the Datloff Pass incident, and like as a Yeti, like a Yeti encounter, because
Yeah.
that is a wicked like tale. They did make a horror movie about it, like in 2013, called like I think it's Devil's Pass or something.
Yeah.
But it's done as like it's not done as like a Yeti thing. It's just so it would be really interesting as a Yeti movie.
I would love to see that happen. There's so many movies I'd love to see happen, man.
I did see that Craig Campobasso apparently got the go ahead or funding or something but they're moving forward with making a full length Valiant Thor movie.
That would be good. I hope so. Have you
I
ever
hope
met
it's
Craig?
good. Yeah. I've met him on Zoom. I've never met him in person.
Oh, dude, you meet the guy in person. He is just a lovely, lovely human being. You know, I had interviewed him a few times over the years, and I got to meet him last year at UFO Con, and he was just 100 times better in person, man. Just love the man.
Yeah, I went to the MUFON Symposium in 2023 that was in Denver, and he was presenting on Valiant Thor.
Yeah.
And his
How
flight
did I
got
not meet you there?
I don't know.
Because I spoke at that.
The one in Denver?
Yeah.
Sorry. I don't know. I know like Stefan came with me and we didn't spend our entire time at the symposium. Like we went up into the mountains and did some,
You skipped my
CE5
speech.
stuff and yeah.
That's where I met the Beard of Knowledge.
Yeah, Shane was there. Yeah. Yeah, so do you remember Friday night of that symposium? A bunch of people reported seeing a UFO from the hotel that we were staying at, that everybody was staying at. Do you remember that at all?
Dude, I was at a bar partying.
Okay. Well, anyways, so that happened.
I heard about it though.
So the cool thing is that Stefan and I were up in the mountains near Boulder,
right,
doing CE5, and I caught something on my Psionics camera, and it was moving towards the Denver Denver location, and so it might have been the same thing that they later saw from the hotel because it was around the same time frame.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, I had heard about that UFO sighting. I had not heard about the yeah, I was out with Tim Senor and a couple of his friends, and we had gone out to some live band bar a couple miles away.
Mm.
We got just under a minute.
Okay. Yeah, that guy who had contacted us, Stefan and I, claiming to be, Terry Rist, he actually gave us some coordinates that were near Boulder. So that's where we were. We were at those coordinates doing a CE5, and that's when we had activity. Yeah.
All right, bear with me here. We got 30 seconds. Thank you to JSCO, AJ, Cat Chaser, and Blue Cruise for the amazing super chats tonight. If you haven't already, do us a favor for the algorithms. Hit the thumbs up or hit subscribe or do both. We'd appreciate it. And after the show, don't forget to leave a comment. Let us know what you think of Chris, our first 2-hour guest, and then, of course, of the wizard here as well. We'd greatly appreciate it. Here we go with the final half hour. All right, we're into the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. We appreciate you tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. We got the wizard, Josh Rutledge, coming up here momentarily. But first, we want to remind all of you that if you've missed most of this show or others, you can check out our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The UFO Report with Josh Rutledge is going on right now. And Josh, thank you so much for being here tonight. What else do you got for us?
Yep. So we were talking about Arrow in the first 30 minutes, and there are actually 3 new reports that were put out on arrow.mil, and 2 of them are unresolved. So I thought I might just kind of cover those 2 really quickly. I'll start with the one that is resolved. And the one that is resolved, you see in the video, there's like lines of bright objects, and they basically the report says that about 25 seconds of video footage from an infrared sensor aboard a U.S. military platform in 2023. Arrow assesses with high confidence that the objects depicted in the video are almost certainly birds. So that's the one that they claim to have explained. They say they're birds. Now, I will admit, I watched closely, and there appears to be a pulsating return on the infrared, which is consistent with the flapping of wings. I actually have a MUFON report right now that I'm investigating, which is the same thing. It shows these kind of bright orb-like lights moving across the sky, but they also are kind of pulsating as you would expect for the flapping of wings. So
right,
likely that third one is the flapping of wings. Then we've got second on the list is the United States European Command submitted a report to the Arrow office, and it's 30 seconds of video footage from a commercially available cellular device, rear-facing digital camera in 2024. The video footage associated with this report is insufficient for Arrow to render a determination on its subject matter. The unresolved report contributes Arrow's historical trend analysis. So what I like about this case is that they can't make a determination based on the video provided. So instead of just chalking it up as probably explainable, they leave it as unresolved. That, in my opinion, is top-notch investigation right there. Because too many other people would say, I don't see anything, or I can't tell what that is. And so they would just chalk it up to a plane or a drone or a bug or whatever and classify it as resolved and move on. So I like that Arrow is keeping it open while they look for additional data to help them determine if it's truly anomalous. And frankly, go ahead.
Do you think, though, that you can trust Arrow that they are giving an accurate breakdown of these encounters?
This may be a controversial statement, but I like and somewhat trust and respect the new guy who's running Arrow. And I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But he seems to be genuinely open to trying to solve the mystery. I keep going back to, because I think it's one of the best interviews that I've seen from him. And I keep going back to the interview that he did on Neil deGrasse Tyson's YouTube show. And Neil asked him, he's like, what do you do when you get a video that somebody says is a craft that, hovered over their house, but the video, all it shows is just like a light off in the distance. And the guy's like, all we're going to do is we're not going to discount anybody's submission. We're just going to take it. We're going to gather additional data, as much data as we can. And when we feel like we have enough data to make a determination, then we'll make a determination. And if we feel like we don't have enough data, then we'll keep it open until we do. And I mean, that along with some other things that he said, about opening up a public facing website for the general public to submit cases to help continue to establish and build upon Arrow's database. I think some people think that Arrow is a psyop or something like that. And I think under Kirkpatrick, it probably was. But it feels like this new guy is legitimately trying to give everything a fair shake. And just my general interpretation of his, of his body language and everything in that interview with Neil deGrasse Tyson is that he's genuine. So I know a lot of, intelligence people are, trained on how to appear genuine. But what's really funny is he's not an intelligence guy. He has a degree in I don't remember what it's called. It's like quantum sound or something like that. He has a degree in how to figure out how to detect new ways of hearing things and producing sound. He is 100% a science guy, and he is heading up what is intended or supposed to be a science post. So, I think that the new Arrow under his leadership, as long as he's there, is treating it with legitimate respect.
John Koslowski.
Yes, thank you.
You know what? Here's the thing that I look at, my man. When I worked in sports radio, I worked for my sports director at the time, who every day was a bad day. Every day he was cranky. He was miserable. It could be, 90 degrees outside and over top of him, it's pouring rain. Just one of those people.
Yep.
And I hated the guy. Absolutely hated working for the guy. And I bring that up because to me, we had the greatest job in the world, man. Covered sports. I never paid for a round of golf in 10 years. Go to any game you want with a press pass. Any event that would come to Vancouver, you'd get the media kits. You'd get a lot of really cool things.
Yeah.
Whether it was the old Indy cars, remember the Indy car races?
Yeah.
Or whether it was hockey or football or PGA Tour events, the NBA when the Vancouver still had the Grizzlies, didn't matter. It was a great time. Right? Mm-hmm. And then if you were traveling, say you were going to Seattle or wherever, you called up their PR department. Hey, can I get a press pass coming down? I want to do a story down there. And you weren't doing a story, but you were going there for the fun, but why not get a press pass? So you can know what the dressing rooms were like or whatever it might be. Right. And I bring that up because in my realm that I am in now, same as your realm, the UFO world, the paranormal world, having that position for Arrow would be the cat's meow. Like literally your job is to go looking for high strangeness.
Yeah.
And it's not just about UFOs. I'm pretty sure Arrow is doing much more than just UFOs, but
Oh yeah.
topic du jour. And you look at the way Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick handled that. Like he handled it like he was sent to Siberia in the middle of winter for prison. And just a miserable human being. At least that's the way he came across.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reputation that has followed him. And that's why I think he got such a bad name over it. Never mind the times he was caught. I don't want to say lying because I hate that word, but let's say telling myths, truths, like going into a meeting with Brandon Fugel saying he never met with Brandon Fugel. He never talked about Skinwalker Ranch or anything. And then Fugel's like, well, here's the picture. That's you in the picture with me presenting Skinwalker Ranch. Like, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? I mean, there was a lot of things like that. So I hope this new guy who's been in the position since August of 2024, John Kozlowski, I hope that he finds the fun in this position, because I'm sure it's stressful when you're dealing with the military, you're dealing with all the alphabet agencies, you're dealing with the FAA and every commercial pilot out there and private pilot. I hope that he finds some happiness in that job, man, that you're literally working a future science that hasn't even been discovered yet.
Yep.
Well,
and that's what I was saying. Like, I think he finds fun in the aspect of it being, science. It's a science-based post. He is a scientist. And honestly, I mean, his whole approach, really putting off some Avi Loeb type vibes of, you can't rule it out you can't rule out, ET life for NHI or any of that kind of stuff as a possible explanation. All you can do is collect the data and evaluate the data and then, come to the best possible determination that you can with the data, or keep it open until you have better data. And that's really what I see from him. And that's even what I see in these two reports that they uploaded. So, and we haven't even talked about the other one, but, I get a really good vibe from him. I hope that he stays in the post for long enough to make a significant difference. I looked him up real quick. His subject matter area is free space optics. I don't know. He tries to explain that on that Neil deGrasse Tyson podcast. But he also has research in crypto mathematics, and he invented an advanced language agnostic search engine and served at the Department of War now, Special Communications Enterprise Office. So, I mean, like I said, he's a science guy in a science post. That's the best guy you can hope to have as the director of Arrow, in my opinion. And he's a science guy in a science post who's not afraid to consider fringe science that we may not fully understand yet.
Well, let's get to the other news. What else you got for us?
All right. So this other report that's also unresolved. This is also from the United States European Command. Submitted a report to Arrow consisting of 10 minutes and 30 seconds of video footage from an infrared sensor aboard a U.S. military platform in 2024. Arrow assesses with high confidence that the footage depicts the presence of a physical object. The object's morphological features, performance characteristics, and behaviors are unremarkable and do not warrant further analysis. Arrow will continue to investigate this case should further information become available to enable a more conclusive attribution. This unresolved report contributes to Arrow's historical and locational trend analysis. So they've said this video is unremarkable and does not warrant further analysis, but they kept it as unresolved. And the video footage, I watched it. It's got some interesting stuff in it. it is like it's nothing. It's nothing that I would expect to see on, CNN or something like, or News Nation is talking about what is this thing and why is it doing these cool, like these, because it is just kind of a um what do they call here, an anamorphous type, light or craft that's moving around in the frame. They do have a couple of different frames and views of it and stuff, and that's pretty cool. But so it's still, I think, you know the fact that they still though kept it as unresolved. They see it, they don't know what it is, um, they don't know how to explain it, keep it as unresolved. Yeah, it's I think the only potential gap here, um, for Arrow, where I think the rest of us would want to see, is unresolved UAP report is basically just saying it's still a UAP, right? But they don't come out and say this is still an unknown aerial or anomalous phenomenon. They still just say it's just unresolved until we figure it out. So I think that's the only thing that probably the community might be missing in their classification, is they would like to see them say still unknown.
What makes it easier for them?
Right. So it's they'll just keep the case open indefinitely because they can't say still unknown.
Do you think then that using the term still unknown can be some sort of cover up for what they might know what it is? If that makes sense.
Well, they don't use the term still unknown, they use the term unresolved. But
Okay.
it's like, you know, I look at it as like it's like a cold case, right? At the police department. They've got the evidence trail went cold. They don't know what else to do with it. The case stays open because it was never closed. They never found a guilty party, so it stays open. But it stays open in basically an unresolved state. And that's the way I look at these unresolved UAP reports. They're open because they haven't reached a level of evidence that allows them to classify it as resolved.
Right.
So they just keep it open. So they're basically saying we can't define these things, so we'll just keep these cases open until we can. So I would look at it and say everything that is still unresolved is effectively a UFO case, is an unknown.
We got about 3.5 minutes to go. What else can you sneak in?
Oh man, I didn't prepare anything else. I'll hit you with an aside, something to think about as you go to bed tonight. Chupacabras popped up in the social lore in 1995 in Puerto Rico. Do you ever wonder if chupacabra reports, because they involve animal mutilations, have anything to do with the animal mutilation cases associated with UFOs?
I have thought about that tie-in. I'm not sure unless the chupacabra is actually an alien species.
Well, I wonder how many times animal mutilation is tied to UFO when maybe it should be tied to chupacabra. Just because they don't see a chupacabra doesn't mean it's not there.
No, you're very, very true. One other thing we should quickly touch on. This week is the anniversary of the Kecksburg incident.
Yes. Tomorrow. I remember I had that on. I didn't have it on my hard list, but I had it on my soft list. Yes. Tomorrow is Kecksburg anniversary. And what's really interesting about the Kecksburg event is that I think we talked about it last time. It was seen over like 4 states,
And
Michigan,
one province.
in one province. Yeah. Of course, the incident is really more about the potential for a crashed craft, that acorn shaped craft. Also, really interesting about that case is it supposedly had hieroglyphics etched on the craft, which is very similar to the Rendlesham craft. Also, the Ronnie Zamora case in New Mexico, there were, odd kind of shapes and things on the craft. So, we put, tail numbers and things on our crafts. Maybe that's what it is for theirs. It's how to identify the craft or who made it or if the
Mhm.
warranty is still valid.
Do you believe the Germans had anything to do with it?
I've heard the theory that it is that Die Glock or the Bell, that it was a German craft that crashed. Possibly, although I think it's like several years after the end of World War II. I can't remember the exact year. Now you got me to look it up. 65, I think, is what it is.
Yes.
So I mean, that's 20 years after World War II. Why would Germans only 20 years later be flying their Bell craft into Pennsylvania, unless it was crashing because they were coming back from Mars or something? I don't know, but it's possible. It's also possible that it was something that was commandeered as a part of Operation Paperclip, and we were building it, and we crashed it.
You know what? As we get ready to head out, I will say this. In a prior conversation a couple of years ago, Lou Elizondo told me, watch Manitoba. That's all he said to me. Watch Manitoba. Where did the Kecksburg one come from? Started in Manitoba.
Yeah.
Shag Harbor started in Manitoba. A lot of them starting in Manitoba, Josh, as we say goodnight to the wizard and the UFO report. And hello to Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Rocking in the background with Little Brother is watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, Elga, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on X at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and Bigfoot Broadcasting Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends,
we're watching.
We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody. Good job, Wizard.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was waiting. I thought you were going to bring up Kecksburg. I wish we would have.
I know. I like I said, I knew I looked it all up, the dates and everything, and I totally forgot to write it down on my list.
That's all right.
I mentioned it last week too, but yeah, the officials tomorrow. All right. Well, it's been fun, and I will catch you guys on Thursday.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. Another great run from you tonight, buddy.
I appreciate it. Thanks,
All right.
everybody.
I'll probably give you a call on Wednesday, okay?
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah, because I got to talk to you about some stuff.
Okay.
All right,
Cool.
buddy.
All right, bye.
Later. All right, people. Let me just get this put in here. All right. Wait for that to get done. There. Tomorrow night on the show, comedian and radio host Ed Till will be our guest. We are going to be getting into the comedy aspect because now how I know Ed is through my nightly radio hits that I do on WPHT in Philadelphia on the Sterling Every Damn Night show. And when Walter M. Sterling is not available, I end up he'll have a guest host sometime. And I've been on the air a number of times with Ed Till. He's a funny, funny man. And when he's not on the radio, he's doing comedic tours on the East Coast. And he asked one day, he's like, dude, I want to come on your show and I just want to talk some UFOs. So tomorrow night, it's going to be a real chill conversation from a guy who really doesn't know what to believe. It's going to be a little bit different. And it's going to be absolutely great. And we're going to have some fun. It's not what we're used to, but either way, Ed's going to join us. I think we're going to have some fun. And we're going to talk some UFOs. I want to say a big thank you tonight to JSCO, AJ, Cat Chaser, and Blue Cruise. And now the lovely Amy. Thank you very much for your love and support. Guys, trust me when I say this, the super chat really does help out with what we do on a nightly basis. And I'm so appreciative of you guys helping out this channel each and every night. I am learning the reason why I haven't posted anything on the membership recently is because behind the scenes, we're doing a lot of rebuilding of SOR with our website and everything. And I finally have been able to get everything kind of intact with that. And so now that ball is rolling, I can, and we're just working on a couple of social media things right now. I'm going to be able to, over the next couple of weeks, be putting out a little bit more content on the YouTube channel, on our social media, and hopefully be doing more with our members, because you guys kind of deserve that. So I'm going to be trying to do that a little bit more. I know I suck at it. It's one of my weaknesses. I know every other channel is doing that, and that's why they're kind of having success and pushing things. And it's their shorts that are bringing in people in. It's their reels and kind of everything along those lines. So I'm doing my best, and I just run short on time. It drives me nuts. It really does drive me nuts. It is a little, Amy, thank you for that, but it is a little bit of a big deal because and I will be blunt, I'm tired of working two jobs, man. I am so tired of doing two jobs. And so just trying to get everything going on a business sense and legally and taxes and all of this shit that kind of goes along with it. Thank you, Blue Skies. I really appreciate that. It really helps out with it. I am working with I'm going to be having a meeting hopefully in the next week or so with a social media person who loves YouTube, loves algorithms and everything like that. So hopefully it has some impact on what we're going to do. Because there's a lot I don't understand, and there's a lot that I don't have time to understand. And that's the big thing too. Like YouTube, if you want to be a successful channel, you have to be able to do it full time. Like you have to be able to just say, screw the world, screw the daytime job. And you got to go hard for about 6-8 months in trying to figure it out. And then you have to figure out how to get around all the blockages that they kind of put up because, there are certain content that the social media portions really, really kind of push to the dark side of the social media. And what we do is one of them. Yeah, it's not all channels, but it's a good majority of them. And so trying to figure that out and learn that process at the same time is very difficult, but very enlightening because you're learning a lot, if that makes sense. Um, you don't have to like it, you just have to do it. And so that's pretty much it. Oh, another thing that I wanted to mention to you guys too is last week I had a 45-minute conversation with Tim James, and he misses all of you guys. He um he apologizes for having to split the way he did, but his health and his brain, he was telling me that when his brain was at its worst, he was having such troubles concentrating that he couldn't even put coherent sentences together. And so it really scared him, as it would anybody. And so he just had to go absolutely silent for a while. And so we talked the other day about it, and he really misses SOR. He misses all of you guys. Don't be surprised if one night he just surprises us in the chat room and jumps in and says hello to everybody. He is getting a little bit better. He's not close to 100% yet with his brain situation, but he's trying his best. And I will tell you, for those of you who haven't met Tim personally, he's a great guy. He is just an absolute gem of a human being. And we were talking about Flight 21 and next year. I'm hoping he can come back for next year, even if we got to ease him in. I just don't want to put too much pressure on him, because pressure on his brain. Tim takes things very literally and seriously when it comes to doing work like this, and that's not good for it. But I just want to, tell him, like Flight 21, we had a lot of fun out there, and we need to continue to have some fun. And he agreed with that. So hopefully next year, come May, he's a lot more healthy, and we have the ability to take him back out there and get him back up on the tracks running. More jogging than running, because we don't want to stress out the guy too much. We don't. But I know he misses all of you. He even reached back out to Lee to say hi to Lee, which is absolutely amazing. I was so proud that he did that. And yeah, I mean, it's great, guys. Like, it's absolutely great to have had that conversation and to be able to share that with you guys, because I know you guys miss him just as much as I do. And yeah, so that works. That works, So that's a good one. That's a good one. It is so warm in here right now. I miss him a lot, Walter. Never mind the incredible work he did for SOR, but the work just the fun that we had, just the fun. And, like going out there with Tim to Flight 21, he brings a real sense of security. He really did. And that's a good thing. It really is. That's a good thing. So let's go like this. I'm going to let you guys go. Tomorrow night on the show, once again, comedian Ed Till will be with us. We're going to have a lot of fun with Ed. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's going to be a little bit of a different show, but it's going to be a great show. Okay, I promise you that. It's going to be an absolute Great show. You guys are going to love Ed and his very infectious laugh. You know? Yeah, we're going to laugh a lot tomorrow night. And he's going to crack some jokes, you know? So if you're a UFO junkie like I am, don't take it too seriously. He's insulting what we do and our experiences. No, he's not going to. He's going to try and poke some fun at it. We got to teach him, though. You know, we got to teach him. And he has a giant following out there. And hopefully some of his people come in and say hello to you guys and get to meet you guys and so on and so forth. So let's go for it. Let's have some fun tomorrow night. And let's just do it. What do you say? Shall we? Let's just do it. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow night. Love you. And thanks for listening in. Don't forget to share, hit subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and leave a comment after the show. Tell me what you liked. See you later.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.